luck, there is no luck. There is no pain, there is no pleasure. There is just a series of events to make things happen, and then it's you're allowed to take them or not to take them, to see them or not to see them, to understand what is going on or not understanding what is going on. Sometimes you think, sometimes you don't think, and that's what is life. People who are thinking too much sometimes they don't dare to do things, and some people who are not thinking at all can be also kind of dangerous. So I think you have to use your gut feelings, and I think it's important to be original, and you have to think also in a very deep manner at certain times. So to me, we have to play with both aspects. Which is kind of difficult at the same time. You have to be original, kind of artist, at the same time very technical and very rigorous, which is antinomous in a way. Again, I think you have to be relaxed. In one hand, to be ready and to accept things that you would not be ready, but at the same time, you have to be stressed in order that you have to jump. So again, I think you have these two points in your life. Relax, but stress, and then you have to transform your negative stress into positive stress in order to dare again. And because if you repeat just the experiments or to have innovative ideas that it's already there, there's no point. So you have to break walls, or at least to open some doors. And then you must have some courage. And to have this courage, you can have this courage because you're just pushed because you're in a bad situation, and then you are obliged to do it. But then at that point you can destroy the wrong wall. And that's why you have also to be relaxed enough to say, no, that's really a bad wall, don't touch it. And then because you would lose too much time. So I think we have to be relaxed, think positively, but do it even somewhere you don't want to do it. Again, that I would say that like this. It's kind of schizophrenia, and then you have to control that at the same time, because that is very bad. So at least to me, even you think that you are in a certain mood. There's always some feedback regulation, negative and positive, which are working on your mind and your attitude in order that to make it move further for yourself. And what is very difficult is to manage the people which are working with you and around you. And that also something which is kind of interesting. And that sometimes you succeed and sometimes you do not. I have to say I was kind of lucky because after my PhD, I went to the States, and I went to Beatrice Mintz, which is a very known person in mouse molecular genetics, or the first person did transgenic mice. Everybody was saying, she's a tough lady. She's a tough lady. But I learned so much with her on the philosophy of science and to put the question not at the molecular level, but behind this. And I think that was very important. Just to go further. Then after that, I went to Germany for 5 years in Max Planck. And then, beside the fight, I tried to learn German. So I'm pretty good to ask for a beer. So basically, again, it was a challenge, and I had fantastic relationship with Rolf Kemmler in Freiburg, and we had a fantastic time. And it was also very productive in both cases. And why? Just because they were there, because I just went into the project, they gave me projects, and I think I also could make them better, the project, and because the data and so forth and so on. So it's always difficult you have to trust the person, you have to understand the person, and you have to put everything you have in your guts. You have to put everything, and then you have to trust yourself as well. Say, I can do it, and if it doesn't work, I will do it again. And then but that's life. I mean, it's what you're asking me. It's obvious, right? What I want to understand, it's one lineage, so it's kind of ambitious, and it's one lineage among others. It's one of the last lineage who arose during evolution. It's melanocytes that arose after neural crest and so forth and so on. For a very long time, developmental biologists were seeing melanocytes as a default pathway. It was kind of interesting because all these people just were, that's nothing, that's not the important question are not there. And I do think that these melanocytes, besides to produce melanin, have plenty of other functions that we think of. And that is, so to understand that, I think it's important to better understand developmental biology. How are they established? And from that we can use this system because they are much more complex than what we were thinking in the 60s. We have much more than that. After that, we have to think of just the homeostasis. How can they maintain the way they have to be maintained? And so we go to the stem cells and stuff like that. We go to hair graying and renewal and all these basic questions, which is very easy to observe. And the skin, I mean, I don't have to say that ESDR is a fantastic organ because you just have to open your eyes. And that we may have all the same problem in the liver or the gut, and nobody will have the chance to see it. We just have, the clinician, they do that all the time. They just open their eyes. And they are the fantastic tools to analyze plenty of things. If an hepatologist could see this, they could do a lot of things too, but they don't. So we must not forget that we have a chance because we have a direct access to this organ. Then after that, we have the melanoma, and the melanoma is fantastic also. Not because it's not fantastic as a disease, but it's fantastic as a way to understand what is going on, and with the plasticity of these cells, which are very different from other type of cells. Also, we must not forget that it's a very young cell line, cell lineage, and evolution did some other things with that. We can think of melanin. Melanin, is it just to absorb the UV? Certainly not. It's much more than that. We can see that as an absorber of stress. Stress, physical stress, chemical stress, whatever stress. And that also certainly of importance to understand that. We have to understand the function of these melanocytes, which are not in the skin, but in the heart, in the meninges. In the ear, we understand. If you don't have melanocytes, you're deaf. Too bad. But then for other melanocytes, we must also understand that. It's still certainly not there to protect against UV, obviously. So again, there's all these questions, and I cannot tell you which question I'm interested in, because my problem is that I'm interested in many, many aspects of biology, the cellular, the molecular, and so forth. And then sometimes you have to focus on one specific question, because at one moment you have to publish. When I came first to ESDR, I was there just as an outsider, because as a scientist and as a person working on pigment cells, and pigment cells is not highly represented in ESDR. It is represented, but I think it would be nice to have more of that. I was interested in ESDR because there's something which is very important. A cell does not live alone, and it lives with many other cell types. And then, of course, we know melanocyte and keratinocyte, that was easy. But you have all the rest of the organs and all the other cells, and how to have a grasp of how these cells are interacting, and not to see only the cell autonomous aspect, but the cell non-autonomous aspect. And then it is very important to just to think it's very simple. what is the importance of the fat cells on melanoma. And then we know at the epidemiology level, we have some information. Now, there's some experiments which are going on with this. I say, we have stuff which is going on. If I didn't come to ESDR, I would not have to be as, let's say, sensitive to this type of things. At least that's the way I see it. I mean, so, and so forth and so on. So yes, it's an organ place with all the advantage, and then it's very wide, and you have plenty of different type of people. You have some clinician, yes, but you have some physicists. You have everything that you can find around in order to have an integrative view of science, and we should have more mathematicians and so forth and so on in order to put things together. And I know that we have this as well, but that is something that we have to modelize everything with all the tools that we have now. So, okay, for ESDR, you have the basic science, which is there. You have the view with a different type of person, the oncologist or clinician and so forth, in order that you see their point of view, and also to meet people in order that you may generate some collaboration, positive collaboration, of course, and that it is important to help young people as well, because many young people, because I'm becoming old, as you, and then you help them just for I have to write a grant. What do you think of this, and so forth and so on, and then it's a pleasure and it's a duty to do that. It's to speak of some article that we have in collaboration with people, or to see a point of view, and then to argue, because very often you can do that by phone with your colleague, but face by face will never change the natural chemistry which is going through the people. And that could be an act of research. Understand how the chemistry, the pheromone, and all the things which are going through the people, in order that you just watch a person and you understand, you know what is in the back of his mind, and that you never have these kind of things by phone. Playing golf? No, and sometimes when I say that, sometimes you must go away. You must go away, you must have to clear up your mind in order that you must not think of anything, and then something just emerge. And that it's becoming very often very important, because you let your brain working, and you don't ask him anything, you don't force him, and then your brain is smart enough, at least this one, to work on, and that is also very important. Sometimes you must stop forcing you to work 15 hours a day, because if you do that, you just is a machine, and then you must let your brain thinking by his own, without thinking of it. I mean, the number of times that we go to sleep and and then on the morning, you say, that's obvious, right? And everybody got that. So we need this type of rest. We need this type of thinking, and you must find the right balance. And I would say it's good that you work hard enough to have the pleasure of having the luck to stop sometime. I don't regret anything, really, because I try to do my best. Now, what I would have done differently, I think I would have done an MD as well as a PhD. Why? It's not really to be an MD. That's not the issue. It's to be better accepted by many MDs. Not all of them, thankfully, but some MDs are just too restrained in their caste. And like some PhD are too restrained on the cast as well, but I don't feel it because I have a PhD, right? And being in biomedicine, I think it's much better that you have both hat, and that's what I would do. And certainly I would have learned a lot as well.